Welcome back to the news at 10. In Ogun State, Nigeria's southwest region, the governor, Pt.3 Amosun, has promised to create local council development areas across the 20 local government areas of the state. He says this will effectively bring government closer to the people at the grassroots and fast-track development in the state. He made the promise during his tour of the Obafemi Owode local government area of the state, where he also promised more development for the people.
The ongoing assessment tour by the Ogun State Governor Pt.3 Amosun to the 20 local government areas of the state takes him to Obafemi Owode local government area, his maternal hometown, where he was welcomed and appreciated by thousands of his kinsmen, including the Alake of Egbaland, Oba Adedotun Gbadebo. Indeed, the governor was at home with his people.
In health, he has done so well. In housing, he has done so well. In education, he has done so well. In health, I've said that. In agriculture, he has done so well. I mentioned it, provision of basic needs like water. In electricity is not in full control, but he's trying his best.
He's doing a wonderful job. He gives us a new state entirely. A lot of investors, they are coming in. Before, in terms of economy, we are nowhere to be found in Ogun State. But now we are number one.
While the governor is being appreciated for his developmental strides in the areas of education, infrastructure development, health, agriculture and urban renewal, the people still want more. Governor Amosun assures the people that new local government development associations will be created and that he will not for one moment relent in his drive to develop the state.
By the time we finish the new city center that we are doing, the new government city that we are doing, the new metro city that we are doing. Metros means mission to rebuild Ogun State. We are doing a new city, and that city will start from Obafemi here, and it will transform the entire landscape of Obafemi Owode local government. So let me thank you once again, and let me reassure you that we appreciate your support, we appreciate your warmth, we appreciate your love, we appreciate the assistance that you are rendering to the government.
The assessment tour continues on Tuesday next week with a visit to Ado-Odwota, local government area.
Disability is often a source of shame and stigma, especially in developing countries. Clubfoot, a deformity which is usually present at birth, is one of such conditions which show up as a foot club shaped like a golf club. Tonight on our Focus on Health, our correspondent Mary Alale Yusuf tells us more.
It's a heartbreaking story of promising futures cut short. The reality that 1 to 4 children in every 1,000 is born with clubfoot, and in some cases, nothing is done about it. The child left to a life of disability and stigma. Clubfoot is usually a congenital deformity where either or both feet are turned downward or inward, giving the foot the shape of a golf club and causing the child to walk on his or her ankles.
Popular theory is that of a positioner, that in utero, that the baby's foot is positioned abnormally, and as the baby grows, the uterus becomes tighter, and haven't stayed in that position for long. The child is born with the leg turned inwards and backward. Other people believe it's a developmental issue. There are some structures that develop abnormally, particularly the bone.
Statistics from the World Health Organization suggest that approximately 100,000 babies worldwide are born with clubfoot, and 80% of untreated cases are in developing countries. Boys are twice as likely as girls to develop it. Doctors lament that children are not brought to the hospital in time for corrective treatment to start.
Any child with clubfoot should be brought to the doctor as soon as that child is born. That is the best time that's when you can get the best result to correct that deformity. But unfortunately, in this part of the world, a lot of people would have gone to several places, wasted precious time, when the deformity would have been corrected at a much earlier age and at a faster rate.
The most common treatment is the Ponseti method, which consists of a series of manipulations and the use of special shoes.
There is a shoe that is designed to reverse the deformity, and this shoe is fixed to a rod, so that the two legs are kept at a constant position. This is usually done for children who have not started walking. And we ask the mother to keep the boot on 23 hours a day. After corrections have been made, we use that shoe to retain it.
That entails you seeing them weekly for 5 to 6 sessions. So by the 5th or 6th session, you should actually have achieved full correction.
The success of treatment depends largely on the dedication of parents and, in some cases, the affected children to the treatment regimen. Without treatment, a child could be doomed to walking like this throughout life. It may not be clear what causes the condition, but experts say about 97% of clubfoot can be corrected without surgery. And once the child is walking, pressure on the soles of the feet keeps them corrected. Mary Alale Yusuf, Channels Television News.
Well, for more on our story, on the former military head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, says huge mistrust in the Nigerian armed forces after the first and second military coups in 1966 led to his emergence as Nigeria's leader. According to him, it was never part of his plans to become the head of state when he enlisted in the Nigerian army.
The coup was in two places, one in Lagos, then another one in Kaduna. I was very busy with the security activity. The political side of it was being taken by the General Officer Commanding, General Ironsi, and some other senior officers. And when they came back, I remember they told me that the acting president had, and the rank of parliament had had told the General Officer Commanding to take charge until he can restore discipline and loyalty in the Nigerian armed forces. And so I asked the officers that were with him, I said, is that so? I asked 3 times. And they said, yes, that is what it is. So at that stage, I said to the general, you have my double loyalty. My thought of saying, return the status quo now would not apply, because my senior GOC and now my new head of state have been given that authority to become the new head of state and commander-in-chief. So he is now my commander-in-chief, head of state and commander-in-chief. And so that was how the military came to take over the first military regime that we had. The next 6 months was a very difficult period. It was a period of anxiety because of what had happened, the coup that took place in Lagos and in Kaduna. And we did everything in order to hold back any reaction. But unfortunately, that reaction could not be stopped any further.
Former military head of state, General Yakubu Gowon. business news, interbank lending rates remained unchanged for the third consecutive week at 10.37%, supported by a large pool of naira liquidity and expected large cash flows in the coming weeks. Traders say the central bank repaid 218 billion naira in matured open market operation bills this week. Although market liquidity opened with a cash balance of around 431 billion naira yesterday, traders said more cash flow from budget allocations and planned retirement of about 978 billion naira at the end of October by AMCON calmed the market. The open buyback rate and overnight placements remained flat at 10.25 and 10.50% respectively for the third consecutive week. Nigeria's bond yields have gone up by around 30 basis points since last week as more investors dumped the local debt and repatriated their funds. At the primary auction this week, the Debt Management Office says it sold about 83.94 billion naira in bonds with maturities between 3 and 20 years. Yield on the benchmark 2024 bond rose to 12.81% on Friday, while the 2022 bond was trading around 12.88%. Excuse me, I beg your pardon. Well, sell pressure dominated trading activities at the Nigerian equities market this week as investors took profit off some major stocks. For the week, the all-share index dropped by 5.55% to close at 38,197.73, while market capitalization closed lower at 12.61 trillion naira. In all, investors exchanged a total of 1.88 billion shares worth 23.73 billion naira in 24,705 deals. Well, next on the news at 10, Team NSCDC emerges overall winner of the National Table Tennis League. That's on Sports News. Please stay with us.